In the kitchen with Elisa, a homemade Caesar chicken style dinner. Oh my gosh. Hey everybody, welcome back. You're in the kitchen with Elisa, and today we're gonna be making a homemade Caesar chicken style dinner. So right now we're gonna be making some homemade croutons. So I just got a thing of bread on sale. It's French bread. Let me get my bread knife out. There's only two of us, so let me not do too much here. We're just gonna make some bread cubes here. If you have more people, obviously do more. I am only 2 people here, so I don't need a ton. So we're just gonna make some bread cubes here. Let's go ahead and chop this up into some little cubes. Whatever size you want. If you want them bigger, do them bigger. If you want them smaller, do them smaller, whatever you're kind of feeling. Whatever you're feeling. I love bread. This makes me want to, that's my oven preheating. Well, technically it's an air fryer, but it's on bake. So, you know, however you want to word that. All right, let's cut these bad boys up here. Listen, we're not going to waste the butts. Those guys can be croutons too. All right. Let's make some croutons. I probably don't even need all this, to be honest with you. The person I'm cooking for or with doesn't even eat a lot of bread, so neither do I. You want to make all these roughly the same size here. That way they cook all around the same time. And whatever size that means to you, because we're cutting up our own croutons, you know, so whatever size you want them to be. I'm doing like little inch cubes. I think that's a great size for croutons. And you can save these into a little bag, and you can even put them in your freezer when you're done, which is nice. So you can absolutely buy your croutons store-bought for this. I just think that these taste better, and it's something like I don't actually have like store-bought croutons in my cabinet a lot, so this is something that I just like to make really quickly for this dinner. We're also going to be making a homemade Caesar dressing. That is so good, and that's what makes this meal amazing. We're going to be making like a garlicky, buttery, roasted chicken that's going to go with it that we kind of do in the air fryer. Okay, so we have our beautiful fresh bread pieces arranged on our pan. We need some fat. We're gonna do olive oil. Olive oil is a good classic for these. I'm doing like an Italian style anyways, so you're gonna wanna drizzle some olive oil on your stuff. Drizzle, 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 drizzle. I'd say I'm doing like 2 tablespoons worth of olive oil. Give that a good toss. They have to have some sort of fat on them. So I'm using a really nice olive oil that I like. You use whatever olive oil you like. It needs to be an extra virgin olive oil though, for this recipe. So if you can do that, that's great. If not, get the next closest thing to extra virgin olive oil, and it's still gonna be good, okay? If you want to, you could even honestly do this with butter, and it'd probably be delicious as long as it's melted. So, come on. So, honestly, I try not to give this too much salt because we're using garlic salt. So, if you have regular garlic powder, you're going to want to add like a little bit of garlic salt. I mean, if you're using garlic powder instead of garlic salt, you're going to want to add a little bit of salt. Yeah, that's what I meant to say, I promise. Okay, we're going to do some cracked black pepper. If you just have regular black pepper, babe, it doesn't have to be cracked. I just happened to get this the last time because it was on sale, and I love freshly cracked black pepper, especially in a Caesar salad. I feel like that's super important. If you can do the cracked black pepper, I think it adds a little razzle dazzle. If you can't, don't worry about it. Okay, a little bit of Italian seasoning. I'd say like a 1/4 teaspoon. Rub it in your palm or your hands, pinch it, however you want to do it. Sprinkle it over your stuff. The reason being that wakes up the oils in your herbs, okay? Give this a nice little mix again. This smells amazing already. If you want, runaway bread. If you want, you can add a little Parmesan on here. But because I'm doing so much Parmesan later on in my salad, I'm just gonna leave these guys plain. And just in case I have leftovers, they're gonna stay a little bit better if there's no cheese on them. So arrange those on your plate. Taste test. Delicious. Wash your hands. Okay, and with this, honestly, you can use whatever white bread you have. If you've got like a leftover Cuban bread, I have that sometimes. If you have like some leftover Italian bread, use that. If you have like leftover, okay, make sure you have a timer on. We're gonna set that to 15 minutes, right around 15 minutes at 375. Whatever kind of like white bread you have left, even if it's just loaf white bread from like a regular loaf, I don't care what it is, you can cut those slices up and make these homemade croutons. So I happened to get like a nice loaf of French bread on sale for less than $2, and I was like, heck yeah, because that'll last me a while and I can freeze it and save it and use it for breadcrumbs and all sorts of fun things. But use whatever you have, okay? So we have our croutons done. In the next part, we're gonna pull together our homemade Caesar dressing. So good. We need a couple of things for that. And I actually didn't spend a lot, but it's a couple of things that I'll show you how I budget them to make sure that they don't cost me a lot. So let's come back and we'll do our homemade Caesar dressing. Hey everybody, welcome back. You're in the kitchen with Elisa. The second part of our homemade chicken Caesar style like dinner, and we're getting into our homemade Caesar dressing. So I actually bought a really cheap can of anchovies like a month ago, and I've been able to continue to use that cheap can of anchovies for like 5 dinners now, and I still have at least 5 more dinners. So you're gonna want like 3 anchovies in the bottom of your pan there, or in the bottom of your bowl here. We're gonna make a homemade Caesar dressing. You need anchovies for that. Keep them in the freezer nice and flat. That way you can pull them out and get as many as you want when you need. Little trick, because that was literally like $1 can. So this is like a couple cents worth of anchovies, and it makes it a lot easier. So next part, we need a couple of capers. This is not in every Caesar dressing recipe. I just happen to really like the capers in there, so I like to do 3 capers. 1. I match like the amount of anchovies to capers. I like that. You can do like even more capers if you like it more briny. That's 3. Okay. We're gonna mash these up together. Give a mush, 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 mush. We're just mushing them together. Give a nice smash to your anchovies. We're just smashing our anchovies and our capers together into a nice little paste here. Smush, 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 smush. This is how we're gonna start our homemade Caesar dressing here. With this nice paste in the bottom that we're making with our anchovies and our capers together. This is gonna come together better in our little blender cup because we're gonna blend all this together and make it nice and creamy in the end, so that makes it easier. But this we need for the texture in the beginning just to get through the next parts of the actual sauce. So mash that together. Okay, now we need the zest and juice of 1 lemon. I have the zester right here. So let's go ahead and get the zest of 1 lemon in there. This is gonna add a bright, beautiful citrus flavor. Making this homemade just adds such a fancy touch. This is one of those meals that I love to make for someone. It's actually fairly simple. It comes together really well. And it elevates that little bit so much when you make that homemade Caesar dressing. And it's noticeable. I'm telling you, it tastes so good. So zest your lemon, get that in there. All that. You're gonna wanna do like 1 medium clove of garlic. Plane that in there while you have your zester handy. Don't plane your fingers, you guys. Wash your hands. Please don't hurt yourselves while you do this. I like grated because it makes that garlic flavor really strong when you're like tearing through that garlic. So it really does make a difference how you cut garlic. And honestly, really any aromatics are gonna make a difference in how you slice them or cut them or smash them and how they taste. So with the garlic, this makes it really fragrant and flavorful and strong. Wash your hands. Okay, honestly, the combo of like the lemon and like the garlic mixing together, divine. Okay, you don't want seeds in this, so make sure you don't get seeds in. We're gonna do like a teaspoon-ish of Dijon mustard. Mine's like a grainy one. You're gonna wanna do like a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire? I don't know how to say that. Somebody correct me in the comments. Feel free. Feel free to correct me. All right, we need lemon juice. The whole lemon. Oh man, this could be a little juicier. That's all right. Get that nice acid out of there. And these flavors together build that really beautiful, creamy, complex flavor that you love and know. All right. We also need to get 2 egg yolks in here. Gosh, this lemon, geez. Not super juicy. It's still got enough. It's gonna work for what we need it for. See, that's a little better. That's a little better, huh? That's a little better. All right, come on, lemon. Roar. Squeeze it. Ridiculous. I'm gonna wrestle the lemon. Listen, I'm a weirdo. Just you're in the kitchen with me. I'm still making a cherry pie right now, so I have to keep an eye on that. We have 1 minute. I have to try. We're doing 2 recipe videos at once. All right, we have our lemon juice in there. We need 2 egg yolks. So how we're gonna do that? Crack your egg. Get one side. Okay, droop your egg yolk into the other and back and forth until the egg white falls off of your egg yolk. See, egg white, egg yolk into our stuff. I know it's raw egg, but it's okay. I mean, maybe it's not, but this is the recipe, and I'm obviously still here, so I've never gotten sick. But it is. It's 2 egg yolks, so. I dropped it in there. All right, it's okay. We're gonna fish her back out. No harm done. Listen, see, this is just gonna show you exactly what you can do when you do this on accident. Just scoop her right back out. Look at that, no harm done. All right, we have separated our egg yolk from our white and then into our bowl with our other ingredients. La 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 la. Save these if you want for your pets or whatever, cook them. I'm gonna set this aside and wash my hands. Save it for your egg white omelet. Okay, so now we have 2 egg yolks, our lemon juice, our capers, our mustard, our anchovies, our Worcestershire sauce. All that's in there. Okay. We're also gonna need some Parmesan in there. So let's go ahead and grate some Parmesan in there. Make sure your hands are dry. Okay. Don't touch your Parmesan with wet hands. Tiny grater, because the other one's in the dishwasher/sink. Okay. For this one, you're gonna want almost like a 1/4 cup of like Parmesan grated. So I'd say I'm at like a tablespoon, 2-ish tablespoons. 3-ish. This is actually a lot of Parmesan used in this recipe. Oh, more croutons. Okay, we have our 1/4 cup of Parmesan in there. Give it a good mix again. Oh no, I'm getting some on the counter. Okay, we need to start emulsifying with some olive oil. Let's get it into our little blender here. I know that's not an appealing color or texture right now, but soon we're gonna have the most beautiful homemade Caesar dressing. Okay, a couple more really important ingredients before we get blending. First, we need a little bit of salt. Let's get our Parmesan off the counter here. Give it a little taste test. It's my counter, I clean it. Judge me. Okay, we need some cracked black pepper. Cracked black pepper. If you have regular pepper, just put it in there before you blend. I just think the fresh cracked black pepper adds a lot to it. It's supposed to be in Caesar dressing. There we go, a fair amount. I'd say like a 1/4 teaspoon. A little pinch of salt. And a few glugs of olive oil. I'd say like a 1/4 cup. Okay, let's blitz this. Use whatever blender you have. I just happen to use my Magic Bullet because it's easier for this kind of stuff. Your Ninja, whatever you got, you know. Okay. happening? Emulsification. Listen, look at that texture change. Okay, let it come down to the bottom. Don't open it right away. Guess how I know that? Guess how I know that? Your girls had a lot of accents in the kitchen, okay? We need to give this a taste because we might need a little more olive oil. We don't know. Shut the fuck up. God damn it, that's so good. Ah, okay. This is the color and texture that we have now. So see how it's not moving after I kind of touched it on there on the spoon or on that thing. If it was on the spoon, it'd be the same thing. We have emulsified our sauce. The fats or the lipids have now blended and whipped with our acids and all of our other flavors in here. God, I think capers just add something to that. Oh, it's so good. That is so freaking good. Okay, I'm actually gonna rinse this off so that I can use this as my jar lid. But that's our homemade Caesar dressing. Look at this beautiful golden brown crouton. Let's give it a try. So buttery and delicious. Do you hear that crunch? Darn it. That is so good. The combination of our homemade croutons and our homemade Caesar dressing is already so good. We haven't even gotten to the potatoes and the chicken yet. We haven't even made our salad yet. What? It's gonna be so good. Okay, we're gonna take a pause, put all this stuff away, and get to our next steps and come back. Hey everybody, you're in the kitchen with Elisa, and we're in the homemade chicken Caesar dinner style dinner. Okay, right now we're gonna do the butter topping. So I have like a half a cup of softened butter here. And you want it softened, not melted, because you still want the texture of your butter to kind of be there. Ooh, messy, messy. I'm like, how do I make this as messy as humanly possible? Don't watch me do things, okay? Just, you know, just learn from the recipe. Maybe don't do it how I do it. Okay, wipe off, wipe off. All right, so now you're gonna wanna do 1 giant or 2 medium cloves of garlic, grated or planed into your dish here with your butter. I should have done the Parmesan first. I just realized that. It's okay, we'll just do it with the cheese grater. I just realized I could have just, it's the exact same size. I could have just done the cheese first on this one. Would have made more sense. That's okay. Get this garlic in here. Ooh, don't grate your fingers. All right. All that garlic in there. Okay, this is gonna be like a really garlicky, fresh Parmesan style. Oh dang, I washed it and the sticker didn't come off. That means I didn't wash it good enough. Wash your lemon. Lemon zest. Zest the whole lemon. This is gonna give it that bright, fresh flavor, just like the homemade Caesar dressing has that we just made. Beautiful, bright flavor of that lemon. It's gonna brighten up that chicken. Fantastic. And that Parmesan, ooh, it's gonna add that nice cheesy crust with that butter. Just adds that beautiful buttery flavor right on top of that chicken as it finishes. Okay. So we're actually just gonna throw some Italian seasoning in here or something, because usually I would do fresh parsley, but I don't have any. I'm not buying any currently, so we're just gonna use what we have. Let's get a little bit of Italian seasoning in there. If you have dried parsley, just use that. That's great. Or if you have fresh parsley, like, use that, of course. Once again, get it in. Smoosh it with your palm. Or pinch it with your fingers, but just a dash, just to give it a little flavor. Because we're gonna add that seasoning into our chicken anyways. And let's grate some Parmesan in here. I'd say like 2 to 3 tablespoons, depending on how much cheese you want in your little chicken topping. So we're gonna cook our chicken first. And then we add this on like the last 5-10 minutes of cooking, and it just makes a beautiful crust on top of the chicken. I love it. You don't want to do too much cheese because that'll change the texture. If that happens, just add a little bit of olive oil. It's okay, but you know, because I don't like to tell people how much cheese to use. You know, it's like, it's kind of, just seems rude. Parmesan. Okay. Let's give this a mix. Give it a mix. We're gonna need, so I use salted butter. If you used unsalted butter, you're gonna need a lot more salt than I am. I'm gonna add just a touch of salt, not too much, just a whisper, because there's Parmesan in here. Okay? That's like a pinch, that's barely any. Cracked black pepper. Like I said, if you have the regular pepper, just use regular, but you gotta have some pepper in there. That's about how much pepper. Like a nice good pinch in there. Give it a good mix. Okay. This is gonna be, you're gonna wanna use like a tablespoon of this per little piece of chicken. I have about 4 tablespoons, which is exactly what we need because I'm doing about 4 pieces of chicken. If you're doing more, you're gonna wanna double this recipe. Set your Parmesan aside. We're gonna need that again later. This entire dinner has quite a bit of Parmesan in it. So I love this recipe, but I only make it every great once in a while because your girl's not actually supposed to have a lot of dairy. Is this gonna hurt me? Maybe a little bit, but it's so good. Whew. So that is our little butter mix. It actually looks so much prettier when there's fresh parsley in there. I am not gonna lie. It just is so much prettier to the eye. I wish I had it. It looks gorgeous in there. I wish I had it, but we don't. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our chicken over here. We're going to season that up and get it ready to get into the air fryer, and we're gonna get our potatoes going. So actually, let's get our potatoes going first. We're gonna do potatoes next. We're gonna set aside our butter mixture for our chicken, and we're gonna get into doing our potatoes because we're gonna do a nice roasty potato. Everybody, welcome back. We're in the next part of our chicken Caesar style dinner. So now we're gonna do our little potatoes. So I am cutting some mini potatoes into some little potato wedges. These are already washed. We're gonna do a second wash. The reason being, this has some ice and it has some salt in there and some water. You're gonna make your wedges and throw them right in there. The reason is the starch that is sitting on your potatoes and the juice that is there, see how wet and juicy that potato is? That's not good. That makes for a soggy potato. So we need to get that off there. So we're gonna clot all those up and get them into a salt ice bath. My goodness. The salt ice bath is gonna help draw out all of that moisture and all the starch, and it's gonna help us give us that crispy baked potato that you want. Because no one wants a mushy baked potato wedge. So we're gonna slice all these bad boys up into little, we're literally just doing quarter style wedges. So I'm cutting them into 1/2 and then cutting that half in half. So quarters into little wedges and straight into our little bath. We're gonna get through all of these. And then we're gonna dry them off really, really well because a potato that's not dry won't get crispy either. So we're gonna dry these off on a towel or some paper towels, whatever you have handy. And that's gonna help us get some crispy, roasted potato wedges. I like them tiny like this because it just adds more flavor. I don't like really big potato wedges because I feel like the salt doesn't get into the inside of the potato, and I want my whole potato to taste like the seasoning. So I like little tiny potato wedges. You do whatever size you want. And these cook literally right underneath my potato, or right underneath my my potatoes cook right underneath my potatoes. No, my potatoes cook right underneath my chicken. So the chicken is actually roasting on like a little grate. So there's just, the chicken juices fall right down onto the potatoes. And honestly, it kind of adds to it, I'm not gonna lie. Because it's like just that extra little like olive oil, fat, and chicken juice falling down on there. It tastes good. If you don't want that, obviously set a separate pan in between. I like to do a fair amount of potatoes because these are actually really good as little leftovers, and then you can use them as like home fries in the morning with some eggs. And I'm telling you, this little process, it makes a big difference, because ever since I started doing this with my potatoes, even if I'm deep frying them, I do this first and it makes a really big difference. Couple more potatoes. Just a couple more taters. You know, potatoes. Mash them, boil them, stick them in a stew. We're getting there. A couple more after these guys. Little tiny potatoes make for delicious wedges. We already have our homemade croutons and our homemade Caesar dressing, and we're getting our potatoes ready. And then we're going to prepare and season our chicken and get that ready to roast. And then we're just gonna wash our lettuce really, really well and kind of put together a little Caesar salad type deal on the side, so that we have like there's not gonna be any chicken on it because we're gonna have our chicken separate, but there's gonna be like a nice Caesar salad, some roasty potatoes, and then some beautiful roast chicken with our nice buttery Parmesan garlic topping. All right, really wash those well. So this has now turned into like a really foggy potato water, and that needs to go. We're gonna make these are washed really well so all the starch comes off. And the cold water helps keep them nice and crisp. The ice helps keep it nice and crisp. All right, there we go. And we're gonna rinse these out and lay them out so that they dry, okay? So after our potatoes are dry, we can come back and we can dress them, okay? Okay, we're back to our potatoes. So these guys are bone dry now. And make sure I'm dry. Make sure my hands are dry. Okay, we took all that time in drying our potatoes. Oh, that's a dry potato. That's what you want. So we washed them in their salt, ice, water bath, right? Then we made sure to dry them on potatoes, and then I put them on now the foil, and they've been drying out the whole time that we've been doing our chicken. So that is some dry potatoes. We need to really drizzle these in some olive oil, okay? Be generous with your olive oil on these guys. Not too much to like make a soup in the pan, but I'd say like 2 good tablespoons. All right. Lots of cracked black pepper. You could have even saved some lemon zest for these, and that would be really good and kind of brightens them up a little bit. I kind of just like my potatoes to be herby and roasty, and then I add some Parmesan on them as well at the end, like the last 5 minutes. As you'll notice throughout this whole meal, I am being generous with the black pepper. It comes out so much better that way. Season your stuff. Don't be afraid to season. All right, let's do salt before I get excited. Salt, pepper, olive oil is where we're at. I would say I did at least a half a teaspoon of pepper on that. Quarter to a half a teaspoon. Quarter teaspoon of salt-ish, you know, because I'm adding garlic salt. If you're doing garlic powder, you could add a little more, because here's the thing, potatoes need to be seasoned, okay? Make sure you season your potatoes, because there's nothing worse than an under-seasoned potato. It's like, man, we really did a disservice to the beauty of this potato, because they can taste so freaking good if they're done right. So we got to make sure we don't do a disservice to our potatoes. Some good Italian seasoning on there. A little bit. Did I do onion powder? I did, didn't I? Let's add a little more just in case. I did, but whatever. All right, I just remember I did. Paprika. Same thing, adds a nice little bit of color. I'm gonna get right in there. Make sure you get every potato in the party completely covered in the olive oil and seasoning. Everybody's gotta be in the party. Oh no, he ran away. You get in the party, sir. No runaway potatoes. Everybody's got to be seasoned. Look at how pretty they are. We're having some runaways, okay? But you know what? They're just not ready for their fate yet. They're slowly accepting, because they're like, man, wait, am I gonna be that delicious? Yes, you are. All right, so you're gonna lay all these guys on their butts. This seems tedious, but I promise you, and by butts I mean like on their back sides like that, so that their wedge side is up, because you want that side to be in the air and get crispy. The bottom side's gonna get crispy too, but we're gonna kind of put these at the nice high temperature so they get nice and crispy. So you want that temperature to get that top of the potato nice and crunchy. You can roll them around and have them on their side first. That way they get one side crispy if you want, or vice versa. I just like to cook them this way. However you want to cook your potatoes, babe. I just put them butt side down. Yeah. That looks lovely. Okay, and we're gonna do what I always do. That tastes perfect. Oh my God. Oh, it's so good. Okay, wash your hands. Welcome back. You're in the kitchen with Elisa, and we're in the next part of our chicken Caesar dinner. However you want to put that, okay? We're gonna have the chicken. So I have taken 2 large breasts and I have cut them into quarters. I made sure to cut the tendon out of it. If you want me to show you how to do that, I can show you how to do that in another video. And now I have plastic wrap over the top. And now we're gonna tenderize it. I actually don't know where my meat tenderizer is. It's somewhere in storage since the move. So we're just gonna use my potato masher. It works the same same force, okay? Downward, straight. We need to make these all the same width. The reason we have plastic wrap on top is because I think it's messy. And this helps keep it from getting super messy. So beat all these down into the same width because you want them to cook the same. So make sure they're all the same thickness. Yeah, right around there. I'll show you in a second. I'm sure my neighbors love me. They literally live in like a apartment style townhouse kind of thing. Okay. I'd say we're all about less than an inch thick. Okay. Kind of similar to when I bread them. Is going to be the same texture. Wash this still in case you got any chicken goo on it. This is where we're at. Okay? That thickness. So now, move these over. Get them ready to season. Wash your hands. We're going to come back and season them. Salt and pepper over here. We're going to drizzle some olive oil on there. And give that all a nice seasoning. Drizzle some olive oil because that's just we're gonna rub all the seasonings all over this, okay? So, get that off your hands. All right. You have to season both sides of this, by the way. Salt. Don't leave a side unseasoned. That would just be terrible. Pepper. Don't be shy with the pepper. This is like a chicken Caesar dressing style dinner. So you can go with the black pepper. You can go a little wild. All right, some Italian seasoning. I'd say like a 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon. Make sure everybody gets seasoned. Some garlic salt. Some onion powder. And some paprika for color, and because it adds, just adds a little bit, I think. I like the little bit of color it adds on there too. So your chicken doesn't look so darn bland. All right, if it's smoky paprika, it adds a little bit even more flavor, but I don't like to add smoky paprika to this dish in particular. Okay, if you want to, go for it. This is your chicken. This is your dinner. Go for it. Okay, flip those bad boys over. Give that same treatment to the other side. Gotta season both sides, baby. Don't leave one naked. Look at it. Don't leave one naked side of chicken. That's disgusting. Not disgusting. That's not the right word. It's kind of rude though. Poor chicken. What did it do to deserve to not be seasoned? Treat your meal right. Season it. There's no reason to not season. Okay? No reason to not season. Don't come calling to me if all you got is salt and pepper in your cabinet. That's crazy. We need to razzle dazzle your cabinet up a little bit. I'll show you. All right, salt and pepper. Let's start again. Let's do this all over again on this side. Salt. Generous amount of pepper. Don't be afraid to get in there with that pepper. Give it some pepper. Give it some pepper. Maybe even sneeze. Arms are tired. It's a workout. That's okay. It smells amazing. Okay, that's enough pepper. Probably, maybe. I could do more. Oh! Okay. The chaos of me in the kitchen. Good amount of Italian seasoning. I always miss that last little guy. Let's try that again. There we go. Garlic powder. I'm amazed that I even remembered to do this in order because usually I just do them all out of order. And as long as I get all of the seasoning on there or whatever, you know, but it's always in a very haphazard way. Okay, come on. Get a little bit of paprika. And then we're literally gonna rub this all over the chicken. I know if you've seen my cooking shows before, you've seen me do that and you might be grossed out by that. Don't do that part. Put on gloves. I don't know, use a fork, whatever. This is how I do it, okay? Hands in. Rub it all over that chicken. Get it all over every piece. Rub it in. Make sure every bit of chicken gets every bit of seasoning. You don't want any piece of chicken to not be seasoned. Okay? Your chicken should have color at the end of it. It should not be bland. Okay? Now, really important detail. Wash your gross hands. This is nasty. So I will half the time season my vegetables and everything and I'll give it a taste. Don't do that on your chicken. This has salmonella and all sorts of weird stuff when you don't cook it first. Don't do that at that, okay? Now I have to wash my hands again because I touched that. Wash your hands again. Okay, our potatoes are seasoned. Our chicken is seasoned. Our croutons are done. Right now my pie's in the background if you guys want to see my beautiful pie. Still a little warm, but beautiful. And we are gonna try that again. We're gonna make our little salad next, and that's gonna come together really easy as everything goes into our little air fryer. You can also do this in the oven, but we're getting close to getting everything together. We have our homemade Caesar dressing done. We have our homemade croutons done. We have our beautiful potato wedges and we have our seasoned chicken, and we just kind of have to bring everything together in a beautiful meal. So we're gonna come back as we put everything together and kind of get everything cooking. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Our air fryer is preheated. I speak English. Okay, so this is the grate that I use to put my chicken on. I figured I better show you guys. So that's kind of what my chicken sits on. I literally just get it on. There's already olive oil on there, mind you. You should put a little bit of olive oil on your grate if you don't have olive oil on your chicken, or even if you just want to make sure it doesn't stick. But as long as you're cooking your proteins right, it should release properly. Make sure they're separated from each other. Get them in the top rack of your oven, above your potatoes, so you have somewhere for your chicken fat to drip. Get your potatoes underneath those, but not directly underneath. That's on the bottom shelf. That way they get nice and crispy on top and on bottom. So we're gonna get those in there for 25 to 30 minutes. Just make sure that your chicken is cooked all the way through. And then we're gonna now bring together our really easy salad, and dinner's almost ready. So let's wash our hands. Okay, I have a bowl of ice water, and we're going to tear and clean our lettuce and get it into the ice water. That way it gets nice and crisp. We'll be right back. Okay, so this actually just helps your lettuce crisp up really nice. It's just a little restaurant trick, just to kind of get your lettuce nice and crispy again. It was a little sad when I opened the lettuce today, so we're just gonna crisp that right back up with some ice water. Okay, let's get our salad bowl ready. Let's just do, how do I want to do this? I'm just doing one of these. We only ever eat one small portion of salad each, so make sure to, let's dry these off a little bit, okay? That's crazy pants. Okay. Let's give our salad a chance to drain for just a second here. Just a second here. So, quick detail. This is not romaine. Romaine is the traditional lettuce that you would want to use for this salad. This is just green leaf lettuce. This is the closest thing they had to romaine where I'm at right now. Lettuce and salads are kind of scarce. Or anyway, so this is what I have, okay? This is what we had at the store. So we're gonna make sure this dries a little bit. We don't want it to be too wet to go in our salad here. It can have a little bit of water, but not a lot. You don't want it to be a watery salad, okay? Only put your crispy bits in there. If it's any kind of too wilted, don't put it in there because that's not gonna be good. Don't put too big of a butt piece in there either. Nobody wants a giant piece of butt in their salad. And this one, we're just gonna we're just tearing into bite-sized pieces. See, like that part's a little sad. Don't put the sad part in there. Make sure it's nice and crunchy and crispy and nice. You wanna have a nice bite of salad. You don't wanna go blah, 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 and flop around a weird floppy piece of salad. Like that's too floppy. Because we're trying to remember, this is supposed to be romaine, which is a little bit crunchier. Okay. We might need a bigger bowl. We're gonna go back to the recipe, because how am I supposed to toss the salad? Silly. That's just silly. How am I? Anyway, here we are. So let's get more lettuce in there. You don't want it, like I said, you want a bite size. Okay? Yeah, romaine's better. I don't care what anybody says. Romaine's got that crunch that I like. You can even add whatever, honestly, lettuces you like on this. I would have definitely preferred romaine. Okay. Get rid of your sad bits. We're gonna come back when everything is all the way, like, almost cooked. And we're gonna get our butter. Actually, we're almost there. We need to flip our chicken. Time to flip the chicken. Don't burn yourself. Time to flip the chicken. It shouldn't stick if the protein is cooking properly. If it's not ready to flip, you probably didn't cook the protein all the way and it's not ready. So we flipped it. Beautiful homemade Parmesan butter that we made that honestly I wish we had the parsley in it because can you imagine how pretty that would be? It's gorgeous. But God, it smells so good. You put this on like the last 5 minutes of your chicken cooking. You just spread it over the top, leave it alone, and it creates like this beautifully garlicky, buttery, bubbly cheese topping on there. Brings this whole meal together beautifully. We're gonna come back and our meal's gonna come together. So I'll see you in a few minutes. And those are what our potatoes are looking like. The Parmesan butter is on there. Last couple minutes while that finishes up, let's finish up our salad here just so you can see it come together. So let's grate biscuits. Both of my graters are the same. Hold on. I sincerely wish you could smell it in here because that garlic smells so good. That like garlic butter topping that's on there right now smells freaking magical. Oh my God. Okay, we need a fair amount of Parmesan in here. I'm talking like almost a quarter cup. Don't be shy. Don't be shy with your Parmesan, baby. We're also gonna need fresh cracked black pepper. For some reason, that's really hard for me to say. So I'm gonna grab that in just a second. There we go. Be generous with your Parmesan here. Yeah, that's probably good. I'd say it's about a quarter cup, a little less than a quarter cup. That's looking lovely. Let's turn our time down. 2 minutes. Pepper. Get that on there. Fair amount, because you're supposed to have fresh cracked black pepper on your Caesar salads. So be generous with your pepper. The main ingredient. There we go. You need to add some croutons in here. I like to add that after some of my dressing just because I don't want it to get too wet. So let's give that a little bit of a toss. Look at how pretty our dressing is. Let's give just a little bit. You don't need too much on this. And then give it a really good toss. Look at how pretty our sauce is. We made that homemade Caesar dressing, you guys. That's beautiful. Another taste. Oh my God. You genuinely cannot beat that flavor. Okay. Like you can't get that in a jar. I mean, if you want to, just use jarred Caesar dressing. Go for it. I'm not gonna stop you, okay? But I'm just gonna try to encourage you to make this one. Give that a good toss. Make sure everybody gets coated in that beautiful dressing that you made and all the Parmesan gets mixed around everywhere. You can always add more dressing, but you can't take it away. So don't add too much in the beginning. That is plenty. Make sure everybody gets coated, so make sure you give it a really good toss here. That's beautiful. Look at our salad is beautifully coated. Now we're gonna throw some croutons on top. You can save the rest of these. I like to have a good few handfuls in there. Toss that up. Look at how pretty that salad is. Okay, I'm gonna pull everything out and we're gonna make a plate together and we're gonna give it a taste test. Give me just a second. Nobody cares what it looks like if it doesn't taste good. All right, knife and fork from the salad because I'm strange like that. All right, oh, that tastes so good. Okay, focus. Let's first of all, let's give you a nice view of a potato. Look at that beautiful crispy potato. Gorgeous. Okay, these were piping hot when they came out. Make sure you blow on them. Beautiful crispy potato though. Seasoned perfectly. Love that. Look at that nice little edge on there. Nice crunchy potato. Okay, focus, focus. Potatoes are delicious. Let's try some of this chicken. I'm gonna make sure to get a slice that has like the Parmesan on it. So let me get like a slice in the middle here. First of all, let me show you just like how juicy that is. That's beautiful. Okay. Oh, that tastes so good. It's off my fingers. Okay. Taste test bite. Shut up. The lemon zest in there brightens that right up. The fresh garlic, so freaking good. Oh my God. That like little bit of Parmesan on there creates like a nice little cheesy crust. Our chicken seasoned perfectly. It's so juicy and beautiful. Okay, it's dripping on my counter. All right, let's not forget the salad. I'm like trying all this. You can't even see it. Okay. Let's get some lettuce. That's way too much. I'm like, listen. Let's grab a nice little crouton in there. Can I grab a crouton with a fork? Yeah, we can. Okay, let's try our homemade Caesar dressing and our homemade croutons and our beautiful salad. The creaminess and the brightness of that dressing with the homemade, like beautiful buttery croutons coming together with like our juicy chicken. Oh my gosh. And then our beautiful crispy potatoes. That's a meal. That's a star meal. I'm telling you, one of my favorite little meals to make. Comes together pretty easy. Honestly, if food preps really well, you can set this aside for later. It's so freaking good. I'm not gonna stop eating this, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you for being in the kitchen with me. I hope you guys try this and let me know what you do different.